Welcome back to Firex Techs. My name is Henry. Today I will be unboxing the Anbernic RG35XX Plus and giving my first impressions of this device. I will go over what comes inside the box and take a closer look at the device itself with the stock OS, then test the performance with some games, and at the end I'll be sharing my initial thoughts and impressions. Alright, let's get on with it. I purchased this device directly from the Anbernic website for around $65, not including shipping. I will not be going through the specs, but I will show them on the left side of the screen for the people who are curious. Inside the box, first we have the device itself. I went for the translucent black version. Under that, there are wet wipes for applying the screen protector, an instruction booklet, the screen protector, and a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Taking a closer look at the device, the front has a 3.5-inch IPS screen, and the normal setup of 4 face buttons, a D-pad, start and select, and the central function button. On the right-hand side, you will find the power and reset buttons, then the OS internal and external SD card slots. Up top, there is the HDMI out port, perfect for hooking this up to an external monitor or TV. On the left side, we have the volume buttons, which double as brightness controls when holding down the function button. And then on the bottom, you will see the USB-C charging port and the headphone jack. Now moving to the back, we have these slanted trigger buttons that feel pretty good to hold. They have a slight click to them. And this time around, they added a removable backplate, allowing for easy battery replacement if needed. Now back to the front. Nothing to complain about the face buttons here. They feel pretty good. Don't fully recess into the case. The start and select buttons, while still made out of hard plastic, have the classic squishiness to them. The D-pad feels a tad too raised and kind of stiff. The edges are not sharp, but the corners are a little pointy. I will need a bit of playtime with this to decide how I like it. Powering the device on, we are greeted with the stock OS. Right away with navigation, I can already tell I hate the UI button sound. My daughter found them hilarious.
It makes a funny sound.
That is a funny sound.
But we can toggle them off here in the settings, labeled button sounds. The main menu consists of the game room, where games can be played using the stock emulators, the option to play games using RetroArch, then a place to access the games you have marked as favorites, and history to see any past games you have played recently, followed by search and settings. The 64GB stock SD card that comes with it has a decent library for older systems, but a short list for things like PSP and Dreamcast, and no games for the N64. I will quickly show off some of the game libraries now. I normally prefer to use my own library of ROMs that I know I will play rather than have these large collections, but for newcomers who either don't have a ROM library or don't want to get into that, this can be a good starting point, or to have enough games for them to play. Launching games from the game room is straightforward, making it beginner friendly. However, it does lack the depth of customization or features offered by using RetroArch, such as hotkeys for fast forward and things like that. For most games, my go-to is to run them through RetroArch. However, it can be useful to use the game room for launching emulators like PPSSPP for PSP games, which tend to run those games better than RetroArch. The device's speaker quality is not bad for its size. I would say noticeably better than the stock Mio Mini Plus speaker. I'm going to go ahead and insert an SD card here I have with some games to test. This will just be a quick showcase, as I will do more testing for my full review. For these tests, I will also be recording the audio directly from the device, as this is one of the best ways to get an idea of how a game is running by listening out for the audio stutters. Starting off with an N64 game because I was curious, we have Super Mario 64, using RetroArch. As you can see, some areas run fine, while others have noticeable lag. You can change the GFX plugin to Rice to remove most of the lag, but there's quite a loss of visual quality. Using the PPSSPP emulator, it does not seem to be strong enough to run a more demanding PSP game like God of War here, even with frame skip on. But for games like Gran Turismo, it is fairly playable with frame skip, rarely getting any slowdowns. Onto Game Boy Advance, using the MGBA core with the Pokemon Unbound ROM hack. Not only does it play great, it has a lot of headroom for fast forwarding, where something like this on the Mio Mini Plus kind of struggles to run at full speed at some parts. Here running Nintendo DS Pokemon Soul Silver seems to run great with barely any slowdowns. I can see it struggling with more demanding DS games and maybe having to bring frame skip into it. And last here is Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. This has surprisingly been running great at native resolution. The only dips I've noticed is during the loading of each round. Otherwise, it's been a really good experience. So, for my first impressions, this is a great device. The amount of power this thing has is kind of crazy for the size and price you're paying. It's great for playing things like Dreamcast, or less intensive PSP or DS games, and it's awesome for Game Boy Advance performance. But with no analog sticks, and not enough power that I would buy it as a go-to for N64 or PSP emulation, while the stock OS is serviceable, it's hard to compete against Onion or Garlic OS. Once Garlic OS 2.0 officially releases for this device, I could see it becoming a main contender for this size and price point. If you already own an RG35XX or a Mio Mini Plus, this is probably not worth the upgrade, and I would recommend either spending a little more getting something more powerful, or holding off and seeing how the next wave of systems perform. I will have to spend some more time with it before I do my full review, but I could see myself recommending this to people as their first device over the Mio Mini Plus when Garlic OS comes out for it. But that about sums up my initial thoughts. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more content from FireX Techs, and as always, thank you for watching.